The police arrived, questioning everyone, especially Tolu. "You were the last person who saw her," one officer asked sharply. Tolu nodded, her hands trembling. The officer leaned closer. "Tell me everything you know. Don't lie, and don't leave anything out." Chinwe had always been a brilliant student. Growing up in a small, crowded apartment in Ajigona, Lagos, her life was defined by struggle, discipline, and determination. Her parents, both petty traders, worked tirelessly to keep food on the table and send their children to school. Their small apartment was cramped, the walls peeling with age, the floor creaking underfoot, but it was home. And to Chinwe, home was where dreams began. From a young age, she knew she wanted more than the life her parents had struggled to give her. She wanted education, independence, and a life she could look back on with pride. Her intelligence had always set her apart in school, top of her class, disciplined, ambitious. Teachers loved her, peers admired her quietly, though some found her seriousness intimidating. When she received her admission letter to one of Nigeria's top universities, she cried quietly in her room, clutching it to her chest, but joy came with fear. Chinwe had worked as a salesgirl at a small provision store after secondary school, saving every naira she could to register for JAMB. Her parents had promised to handle her tuition once she got in, but she knew how hard things were for them. The thought of school fees, hostel payments, and textbooks haunted her happiness. That evening, when her parents returned home, she handed them the admission letter with trembling hands. For a moment, they were silent, reading it again and again until her mother suddenly let out a cry of joy. "Chinik, my daughter don't enter university." Her mother screamed, dancing around the room, tears streaming down her face. Her father smiled proudly, the weariness in his eyes momentarily replaced by relief and pride. Then her mother disappeared into their small room. She returned minutes later, carrying a small black nylon bag. She sat beside Chinwe, placed it on her lap, and unwrapped it, bundles of notes. "Your father and I have been saving little by little," her mother said, voice shaking. "We knew this day would come. This should cover your first school fees, hostel, food, and small money for upkeep. God will provide the rest." Chinwe's eyes widened. She had never seen that amount of money in her life. The tears came before she could stop them. "Mommy. Daddy. I didn't even know you had this. I thought things were too hard." Her father smiled faintly. "Things are hard, my daughter. But you're our hope. You must not forget that. This family is counting on you. No matter what happens, keep your head straight." They all hugged tightly, tears flowing freely. Later that night, they knelt together and prayed. Her father's deep voice trembled as he said, "Lord, protect our daughter. Let her never be misled. Let her remember where she came from." That night, Chinwe couldn't sleep. Her mother came into the room quietly and sat on her bed, stroking her hair. "You see, my daughter, this world is not easy. You must be careful. Don't follow bad friends. Remember, we all look up to you. We are proud of you already, but don't let school change you." "I won't, Mommy," Chinwe whispered. "I promise." Her mother smiled, kissed her forehead, and said, "That's my daughter." A few weeks later, after countless preparations and emotional goodbyes, it was time for Chinwe to leave for school. Her mother carefully packed some foodstuffs: gari, rice, palm oil, groundnut oil, indomie, and dried fish. Her parents accompanied her to the park that morning. Her father carried her box and placed it inside the bus. Before she boarded, they prayed again, tears welling in their eyes. "Go and conquer, Chinwe," her father said, patting her shoulder. "We believe in you. I'll make you proud," she promised, waving until the bus disappeared. The university was a whole new world, vast, noisy, and full of faces that seemed to belong to a different reality. Students from wealthy families strolled around with expensive phones and cars. Chinwe, with her modest clothes and broken smartphone, felt out of place. Her first semester was rough. She struggled to adjust to overcrowded lectures, professors who barely noticed her, and the chaos of hostel life. Sometimes she stayed up late, crying quietly because she missed home. But she refused to give up. She studied harder, avoided distractions, and stayed focused. Her roommate, Tolu, was the exact opposite. Loud, confident, always on the move. Tolu was a party girl. She knew all the hot spots, all the influencers, and all the latest gossip. Yet, despite their differences, the two girls grew close. Tolu admired Chinwe's brilliance. Chinwe secretly admired Tolu's carefree spirit. Chinwe, you too dey dull yourself, Tolu would tease. Life no be only book. Sometimes you go just breathe small. Chinwe would smile politely, and so, the first semester passed quietly. Chinwe managed to survive on her parents' money, living simply and only calling them when she needed money for school expenses or feeding. When she returned home for the break, her parents welcomed her with excitement. Her mother cooked her favorite egusi soup. Her father boasted to neighbors, "My daughter is now a university student." But beneath the laughter, Chinwe could sense something different. The house looked emptier. Her parents seemed tired, worn out. One evening, she overheard them talking in low voices. Her mother, "We still owe Ebuka's father 30,000 naira, and Mama Ada's own is 20,000 naira. Both of them are asking for their money. Ebuka's father said he will come for his money next week, and he expects to receive it in full." Her father, "I'm trying. Every time Chinwe calls, I can't tell her we are struggling. She's already doing her best." That night, Chinwe cried silently. She had realized the truth. Her parents had borrowed heavily just to send her money. They were drowning in debt, all for her sake. When it was time to return for her second semester, her parents couldn't give her much. Her mother pressed 10,000 naira into her palm, apologizing, "My daughter, this is all we could gather. Manage it, please. God will provide." Chinwe smiled weakly, hiding her tears. "It's enough, Mommy. I'll be fine." But she wasn't fine. Back at school, things grew tougher. She ran out of money. Prices of everything had increased: food, transport, handouts. She began skipping meals, borrowing little amounts from classmates. Sometimes pretending she wasn't hungry when Tolu offered to buy food. Tolu noticed the change. "Babe, you don't look okay. Wetin dey happen?" "Nothing," Chinwe lied. "I'm fine." But she wasn't. Every night, she thought about home and her parents, the debt, the sacrifices. She felt trapped. She couldn't call them. Tolu, meanwhile, kept inviting her to clubs and parties. "You need to go out more. Let's go to club. You can even pick money there. People just spray you for fun. I swear, no bad thing." Chinwe refused at first, but as the days passed, hunger and worry became constant companions. One evening, after staring at her empty purse and realizing she couldn't afford handouts and food, she broke down in tears. When Tolu returned that night, she found Chinwe crying silently. She hugged her and said, "You're killing yourself, babe. Just one night. Come with me. Pick some money, have fun. Nobody will harm you." That was how she accepted. That night, the club was a sensory overload. Neon lights flashed across the dance floor, the music vibrating deep into her chest. Chinwe clutched her purse tightly, Tolu dragging her through the crowd like a kite caught in the wind, and then she saw him. A man, impossibly handsome, sitting near the bar. His eyes met hers, and for a moment, the rest of the club disappeared. His smile was subtle, magnetic. Chinwe felt a warmth she hadn't anticipated, a flutter in her chest that made her palms clammy. Tolu leaned in, whispering, "Go on. Say hi. Who knows? This might change everything for you." Chinwe shook her head, heart pounding. She wasn't that kind of girl. But there was something. different about him. Something that made her curious, almost reckless. Taking a deep breath, Chinwe walked toward the man. Her heart pounded so violently she thought he might hear it. He stood as she approached, his posture relaxed yet deliberate, giving her an impression of quiet confidence. As she reached him, he smiled softly and gestured toward the seat beside him. "Hi, I'm Emmanuel," he said warmly, his voice steady above the thumping bass. "What is your name?" Chinwe swallowed hard, her throat dry. "Chinwe," she managed to reply, her voice barely audible over the music. "Chinwe," he repeated, nodding slowly. "That's a beautiful name." The corner of Chinwe's lips twitched into a hesitant smile. There was something disarming about him, his calm presence against the chaos of the club, the way he listened even in the noise. They began to talk, introducing themselves slowly. Emmanuel told her he was a tech entrepreneur, working on projects in Lagos and abroad, while Chinwe carefully shared bits about herself and her studies. Words came haltingly at first, drowned in the music, but soon they found a rhythm, laughing at small jokes and teasing lightly. Time seemed suspended, as if the club existed only for them. After nearly an hour, Emmanuel leaned closer, lowering his voice. "It's way too loud here. Do you want to go somewhere quieter? I'm staying at a hotel not far from here." Chinwe froze. Her mind raced. A quiet place, a hotel, alone with a man she barely knew. Her gut screamed no, but a small, foolish voice whispered that maybe she was overthinking it. After all, he looked harmless. Emmanuel's eyes softened as he noticed her hesitation. He smiled just enough to feel reassuring, his voice smooth and measured. "Oh, relax. I'm not that kind of person. I don't hurt people, and I promise I won't touch you. I just want to know you better before I travel back." The calmness in his tone worked like a quiet trap. The way he spoke made it sound natural to trust him, like saying no would be unreasonable. She excused herself quickly and went to meet her friend. "Tolu," she whispered nervously, "he wants us to go somewhere quiet. He said he's staying in a hotel not far from here. I don't know if I should follow him." Tolu responded almost instantly. "Chinwe, listen. You know how tough things are at home. Your parents are already stretched. If this guy is as serious as he looks, he could actually help you, help your family. I know someone who met her husband at a club. He's now giving her the life she never imagined. And the guy? He looks safe and innocent. He's just trying to know you. Trust me, just go. Nothing will happen. This could change everything for you." Chinwe's fingers trembled as she listened. Her life flashed before her eyes, the cramped apartment in Ajigono. Her parents working themselves to the bone. Tolu's words resonated like a fragile rope in a storm. Then she turned to her friend. "Okay. I'll go." Tolu told her to send her the hotel address and room number just in case, then reminded her to be careful. Returning to Emmanuel, Chinwe felt a mixture of fear and anticipation. She waved at him, and he smiled. Reluctantly, she agreed, and they left for the hotel. When she got to the hotel, Chinwe texted Tolu the hotel and room number as instructed. The hotel was opulent, the kind she had only seen in movies: marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and expansive rooms that carried the faint scent of jasmine and luxury. At first, it seemed harmless. They gisted, sharing stories and laughter. Chinwe felt a strange lightness she hadn't known for months, the comfort of someone paying attention, of laughter that didn't feel forced. Emmanuel's presence was oddly soothing, and for a fleeting moment, she allowed herself to forget the weight of her family's struggles. Then, after a pause in the conversation, he leaned slightly closer. "Are you thirsty or hungry? What do you want?" he asked. His voice casual but polite. Chinwe shook her head. "Nothing," she murmured, a flicker of caution brushing her chest. He smiled, persistent but gentle. "I insist. You're my guest and I want to take care of you. Just for now, let me entertain you." She hesitated, her gut uneasy, but after a moment she whispered, "Water. Is okay." A server appeared moments later, carrying a bottle of water and a tall glass. For himself, Emmanuel ordered an alcoholic drink, which the server placed on a table inside the room. "Let me help you pour it," he said, taking the bottle and twisting the cap. "I just want to make sure you're comfortable." Chinwe didn't know he had already slipped something into the water, a sedative designed to cloud her senses. She took the glass without expecting anything to go wrong. They continued talking, his voice soft and measured, his gaze fixed on her. But as minutes ticked by, a strange dizziness began to creep over her. The edges of the room seemed to tilt slightly. Her head felt heavier, her vision blurred, and her pulse raced. I feel a little dizzy," she admitted, her voice tight. Emmanuel's face remained calm, almost concerned. "Maybe you're just tired," he said softly. "It's been a long day. You've been doing so much. Studying, worrying, clubbing. It's okay to relax." Chinwe's mind raced. Something about the smoothness of his voice, the intensity of his stare, made her uneasy. "This doesn't feel right." Her hand trembled as she reached for her phone, quickly opening WhatsApp to text Tolu, "Help. Something's wrong." Before she could finish typing, he leaned forward sharply, his shadow falling over her. "What are you doing?" His voice was calm but carried an undertone that made her skin crawl. Before she could react, his hand closed over hers, snatching the phone. The screen went dark. Panic surged through her chest, making it hard to breathe. "Hey, give that back." She stammered, trying to pull away. But her muscles felt heavier, sluggish, as if her body was no longer fully hers. Emmanuel's face hardened for a moment, and before she could fully comprehend, he produced a small syringe. Chinwe's eyes widened in terror as she realized the horrifying truth. Her mind screamed, but her body refused to move or make a sound. The last things she remembered were the cold glint of the needle, the sharp prick in her arm, and the creeping darkness swallowing her vision. Tolu's cheerful smile from earlier, the one urging her to just trust him, flashed in her mind like a cruel joke. And then, nothing. The next morning, Tolu woke up in the dorm room with a pounding headache and the lingering haze of alcohol. She stretched lazily, half dreaming, expecting Chinwe to be at her side, probably reading or scribbling notes as usual. But the bed was empty, neatly spread, untouched. "Chinwe." She called softly, rubbing her eyes. No response. She checked her phone. Past 8 a.m. Chinwe never missed lectures. If she wasn't in class, she was either in the library or doing laundry. But that morning, something felt different. The air in the room was heavy, almost strange. Tolu tried to shrug it off. Maybe Chinwe went to class early. She brushed her hair, got dressed, and headed for her first lecture. But when she returned around noon and Chinwe was still not back, unease began to creep in. "Chinwe." She called again, scanning the corners of the room as though her friend could magically appear. She checked her phone, no missed calls, no messages. Something was off. She dialed Chinwe's number. It rang once, then went straight to voicemail. She tried again. The same thing. Her chest tightened. "Come on, Chinwe, pick up now," she muttered. By 3 p.m., she was pacing the room. Chinwe was never absent without notice. The girl was too disciplined, too structured, too focused to disappear without a word. Tolu's hands trembled as she scrolled through her contacts, heart pounding. She dialed one of Chinwe's close classmates from their department. After a few rings, the girl picked up. "Hello." Tolu's voice cracked a little. "Hi. Please, have you seen Chinwe today?" The girl sounded surprised. "No, oh. She wasn't in class. Hope all is well. I even tried calling her number, but it's been unreachable since morning." Tolu swallowed hard, forcing a nervous laugh that came out shaky. "I haven't seen her today either. I thought maybe she went for class early." There was a pause on the line before the girl spoke again, her tone uncertain. Maybe she went home. Tolu's chest tightened. No, she didn't tell me she was going home. Oh. That's strange. Oh, the girl replied softly. Tolu's throat felt dry. Okay. If you hear from her, please call me immediately, I beg. I will. But you two try check well. Maybe she's around somewhere. All right. Thank you, Tolu whispered and ended the call, her fingers shaking. As she ended the call, a deep fear settled in her stomach, one she couldn't explain. Chinwe never disappeared without saying anything. Never. Then an uncomfortable thought crept into her mind. The man from last night, her breath caught. She scrolled through her messages and found the one Chinwe sent last night, Hotel Sapphire, room 702. Just in case, Tolu's blood ran cold. The words replayed in her mind, louder and louder. Oh God, what have I done? She whispered, her heart pounding. Without wasting another second, she grabbed her and dashed out of the dorm. Her hands trembled as she stopped a kiki by the school gate. Hotel Sapphire, please. Fast, I beg, she said breathlessly. The driver glanced at her through the mirror. You dey okay? She nodded weakly. Just go. The road blurred past. Every bump made her stomach twist tighter. She kept replaying last night in her head, how she had teased Chinwe, how she told her to relax, to just trust him. When they finally arrived, Tolu barely waited for the kiki to stop before she paid him and ran toward the reception. Good afternoon, please, she said quickly, panting. Someone, my friend, was here last night. She was with a man. I need to know if she checked out this morning. The receptionist looked startled. Calm down, madam. Which room? Room 702, please check. The woman typed something on her computer. The receptionist blinked, confused. Someone checked out this morning. She looked from the screen to Tolu, her voice lowering. The man said the lady left earlier. We didn't see her. Tolu's world went still. Her knees almost gave out. Left. She whispered. No, she didn't go home. She's missing. I'm telling you, she's missing. Madam, calm down. Maybe she left on her own. She didn't. Tolu snapped, slamming her palm on the counter. Tears burned her eyes. Please, can I see the CCTV footage? The receptionist hesitated. About that. The camera for that floor has been faulty since last week. We've called the technician. Tolu's voice cracked. Are you serious right now? The woman looked away, uneasy. I'm sorry, there's nothing more I can do. Tolu stumbled outside, her vision blurry with tears. She dialed Chinwe's number again. Still off, as the sun began to set, fear turned into raw panic. Her stomach churned violently, her hands wouldn't stop shaking. That night, her dorm room felt like a coffin. Chinwe's bed remained untouched. Her notebooks were neatly stacked, her slippers beside the bed, her Bible still open to Psalm 91. Tolu collapsed on the floor, clutching Chinwe's pillow to her chest. God, please, bring her back. Please, she whispered between sobs. The next day, the campus was in chaos. News of Chinwe's disappearance spread like wildfire. Flyers with her photo were plastered everywhere, on hostel walls, gates, and canteen doors. The police arrived, questioning everyone, especially Tolu. You were the last person who saw her. One officer asked sharply. Tolu nodded weakly, her hands trembling. The officer leaned closer. Tell me everything you know. Don't lie, and don't leave anything out. Tolu swallowed hard and began. We went to a club. She met a man. I told her to go with him, but she sent me the hotel details. Did you know the man's name? The officer pressed. No, she whispered, guilt burning her throat. By afternoon, under pressure from the authorities, hotel staff were forced to open room 702. Tolu's heart felt like it was beating inside her throat as the hotel staff unlocked the door. The officers stepped in first, covering their noses almost immediately. A thick, metallic smell seeped out, the smell of blood. Jesus Christ, one officer muttered. Tolu forced herself inside. The room was dim and cold. Too cold. Then she saw it. She froze, her mind went blank, and then the scream tore out of her chest before she even knew she was screaming. Chinwe. There, on the floor beside the bed, lay Chinwe's body, not just still, not just lifeless, but violated in a way that made the officer stiffen and step back. Her stomach had been slit open, deep, deliberate, with precision that didn't look like the work of someone panicking. The soft flesh of her abdomen had been removed, intestines gone. Her left breast was missing, the skin around the area torn and bruised. Her eyes. Empty sockets now. Her lower body was covered with a stained bedsheet. Her private parts had been mutilated too. The smell, the silence, the coldness of her skin, it felt like the entire world fell apart at once. One officer whispered, "They no just kill this one, or them don't use her." Tolu collapsed to the floor, her nails digging into the tiles as she cried, the kind of cry that comes from a place deeper than the stomach, deeper than the lungs. A cry that shakes the bones. Hotel staff ran in after hearing her scream. 3 of them staggered back immediately. One burst into tears, another ran out vomiting. The news reached Chinwe's parents quickly. Her mother arrived first. The moment she stepped into the doorway and her eyes landed on her daughter's body, she didn't shout. She didn't move. She just stopped. Like someone had unplugged her soul. Then, suddenly, her body dropped to the floor. She fainted. For almost 30 minutes, officers found her, sprinkled water on her face, pressed her hands. When she finally opened her eyes, she didn't remember where she was at first, but then she saw the room again, and she exploded. "No. This is not my child. This is not my Chinwe. Oh God. What did she do? What did she do to deserve this? My pikin. My pikin." Her wails echoed through the entire hotel corridor. Tolu couldn't bear it anymore. The guilt swallowed her whole, squeezing the air from her lungs. She fell to her knees in front of them, gripping Chinwe's mother's hands with trembling fingers. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry," she cried, her voice breaking. "I told her to go. I should have stopped her. It's my fault." But her mother only looked at her with empty, swollen eyes, eyes that no longer knew who to blame. Her mother's trembling hand touched Tolu's hands. "Why did you do that? Why didn't you stop her? Why did you tell her to follow the man?" And Tolu had no answer. Only guilt. Only regret. Only the crushing truth that a single night had destroyed an entire family. Her father entered silently. He stood there, no tears, just shaking, and then suddenly, he let out a choked sob and covered his face, his knees bending as he grabbed the wall for support. Nothing in the world prepares a parent for this. Nothing. The hotel tried to claim again that the cameras were faulty. But one officer insisted on checking all the cameras in the building. They went through every floor, camera by camera. Nothing. It looked as if the footage had been wiped. Just as they were about to give up, they decided to check the lobby, and there it was, Chinwe. Walking into the hotel, beside her, the man, his face clear, sharp, he looks nice and kind, but the footage of him leaving showed something chilling. He walked out alone with a black bag, not even pretending she was alive. Her funeral was quiet. Her mother had to be held up physically. Her father didn't speak for days. Students lit candles on campus that night, a long line of small flames stretching across the walkway, their faces bowed, tears slipping down cheeks. Many people didn't sleep for days. The hostel felt different. Girls moved in groups. Nobody trusted strangers anymore. Investigation started and the police began questioning every staff member who had been on duty that night and the next day. Their first concern was how such a gruesome crime could have happened without any employee noticing unusual activity. The officers asked the receptionist on duty if she heard anything strange, any movement, dragging sounds, or suspicious activity. She explained that the victim had likely been sedated, because nothing loud ever came from that room. The police confirmed that heavy sedatives had been used, meaning she had been rendered completely unconscious because the floor was littered with traces of drugs and injection. Still, the officers questioned why no cleaner entered the room for more than 24 hours. The receptionist claimed she thought the cleaner had already cleaned and returned the key. The cleaners were brought in for questioning. One of them, the woman originally assigned to that floor, admitted she had called in sick that morning. She told the police she wasn't feeling well and had begged her colleague to cover her shift. She insisted she believed sincerely that her colleague had cleaned all the rooms, including room 702, and returned the keys. Her colleague, who was supposed to cover for her, confessed that it was a busy morning and afternoon with many checkouts, and she simply forgot to clean that floor. She kept apologizing, trembling as she spoke, insisting it was an honest but tragic mistake. Finally, the police questioned the hotel manager. He admitted that he had been aware that the CCTV camera on that floor had been faulty for more than a week. He claimed he had already requested for repairs, but the system had not been fixed yet. The investigators noted this as serious negligence. All the staff involved were detained temporarily while investigations continued. It took the police about a week to trace him. He wasn't from that state. He lived in Benin, in a big house with tinted cars and security guards, a respected forex trader on social media, the type that flashes cars, money, and quotes about success. At first, he denied everything. People in his area even defended him. He is a good man. He gives to the community. He can't kill anyone. But when they played the CCTV footage, his face drained. Suddenly, he started begging. He tried to bribe the officers. He even knelt down, but it was too late. At the station, he confessed like someone whose secrets had finally caught up with him. He told them he wasn't really rich from forex. He was into money rituals. He said he targets girls from clubs near universities, because many of them are easily convinced with drinks, attention, money, gifts, and promises. He said when he saw Chinwe, he knew immediately, she is not experienced. She is shy. She is innocent. Those are the best ones. They get scared fast, they won't fight much. They die quietly. Tolu, who was listening, almost fainted. He said he travels from state to state, especially during his ritual renewal period. He said he prefers girls who trust quickly, girls who don't ask too many questions. He said Chinwe was perfect. He used that word, perfect. He wasn't forgiven, he wasn't pitied. He was sentenced to life imprisonment while the hotel was guilty of gross negligence because their inconsistencies, they ignored faulty CCTV, and the lack of supervision made the hotel's management appear careless and unprofessional. These gaps were part of what enabled the killer to carry out his acts undetected. A fine was imposed, and compensation ordered for Chinwe's family. Justice, however, was bittersweet. No monetary award could bring back a young life stolen too soon, and Tolu, she never remained the same. She withdrew completely, haunted by her role in what happened. Her silence became her punishment, her guilt became her shadow, her story became a warning. Do you know that this is not just a story, this is reality, happening right now, every day, somewhere, to someone, and too many times. It begins with a simple thought, let me just follow him, he looks responsible. I'll be fine, nothing will happen. He has money. He doesn't look dangerous. He said he would drop me at home. But danger rarely announces itself. Evil doesn't always look dirty. Sometimes it wears a nice shirt, sometimes it drives a clean car, sometimes it uses soft words, sometimes it pays the bill without asking, sometimes it pretends to care, sometimes it looks exactly like safety, because the world has changed, people have changed, and innocence is what predators look for the most. Some of them study your body language, some watch the ones who look stressed, lonely, or overwhelmed, and they come to you all in the name of relationship. These things don't only happen in movies, they happen in hotels, in clubs, in parties, in houses you've never been to before, in houses you're comfortable with people you barely know, with people you know and you trust. people who smile easily, people who speak calmly, people who look normal. And when tragedy strikes, the parents are left to pick up pieces of a life that will never return. Friends cry themselves to sleep, communities mourn, and the world moves on while the family remains broken. This message is not to instill fear. It is to open eyes, to remind someone, anyone, who needs to hear it. Your life is worth more than a night out, more than a free ride, more than a little attention, more than let me just go. Nothing will happen. Because something can happen, and too often. It already has.